We have one more solid presentation coming up, and this is on the topic of personalizing learning and development experience for healthcare professionals, also by Smith Nephew. I'd like to welcome Dr. Saurabh Sharma, Senior Director, Medical Education Societies at Asia Pacific, Smith Nephew. And I just want to mention that Saurabh and his team, have been instrumental in conceptualizing and developing the new Smith Nephew Innovation Center in Singapore. So Saurabh, I would like to be invited to visit one of these days. So I hope you can give me the invitation. Yeah. Very excited about it. So thank you very much. And please take it away. This is your presentation for today on personalizing learning and development experience for healthcare professionals. Thank you, Saurabh.
Can you see my screen?
Where is this? Oh, it's loading. Yes, it's loaded already. But you're sort of in the preview mode, I believe. Yeah.
Is it fine now?
Now you're in the You're okay. It's great. Now it looks great. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So while Ella has explained on how we are trying to bring in new technologies for the commercial organization, I think medical education has been the forte of Smith Nephew, and we have sort of been leaders in medical education globally. I think last couple of years has brought in a transformational change in the way that we deliver medical education. We all know COVID is set in. Earlier, medical education, about 99% were hands-on, physical, face-to-face meetings. But we have sort of transitioned in last 2 years, and we had to be quick in terms of transforming ourselves just to maintain that connect with the HCPs from an education perspective. And we resorted to a lot of digital and virtual trainings, a lot of webinars. And as we go by and COVID settles down, we know we're going to fall back to face-to-face trainings, but not completely. So it's always going to be now the blended curriculum that we're looking at, and that opens up a wide array of opportunities and solutions that in the way that we can deliver medical education to the HCPs. So one is obviously we're coming up with an Advanced Innovation Center in Singapore. The aim is to deliver more targeted, personalized healthcare education proactively to our customers. Whether it is on-demand videos, articles, podcasts, various medical topics, we are just want to develop that blended education culture within Smith Nephew, and that's where we are sort of working on in terms of creating a 360-degree education ecosystem, which you'll learn more about in the subsequent slide. Now, what we do today is we are mapping the learning needs and the education needs of the customers, the HCPs, manually, through a constant information from our internal sales teams, marketing teams, some interaction with the HCPs, and we're processing all that information in all throughout, and matching it to the trainings that we can provide them in terms of addressing those learning needs to the HCPs, which sometimes it's resulting in sort of an ineffective matching and a non-ideal experience by the HCPs in terms of addressing the learning needs, because it's very manual. It's so many individuals are driving it. Some informations are coming in from a salesperson, some from marketing people. So I think it's all coming together where at times we feel it's an ineffective matching in terms of addressing the learning needs, and how best we could possibly explore a process where the entire engagement with the HCPs can be improved. So we're looking forward to use more of and we have a lot of data in-house. We have been training thousands and thousands of HCPs every year. We know what subjects that we have trained them on, what modules they've taken with us, what labs they've attended with us. But we're looking forward to more data-driven approach with predictive learning models, which could possibly guide us that what are the right learning needs for a particular HCP, and basis those learning needs, what is the best mode of education that we can offer them. So that's the basic thing that we're looking at. And what I was talking about in education ecosystem, we really are working towards delivering a personalized sort of an education journey, very customized to each of our customers, where we are expanding our customers base regularly. We really want to provide that 360-degree sort of an environment. Starting from, we have a lot of global Smith Nephew learning centers, one which is coming up in Singapore. We have a lot of labs globally where customers visit, do that hands-on cadaveric learning, cadaveric exposure, where they have a hands-on sort of a feeling on our products and technologies. We have in-country partner labs where we organize those workshops for our HCPs. We have other strategic face-to-face meetings like symposiums, some conferences, some meet the experts, where we just bring the best minds together to deliberate and talk about latest advancements. Last 2 years, we have developed a very robust interactive online education, and we've sort of we're developing a very, and Ella was talking about it, Education Unlimited. So we're developing a very robust Edu-tech platform that will enable HCPs to have that 24/7 sort of a education at a click available with them. Again, we are having another smithnephew.com, which have a very robust download library with all our surgical techniques, brochures, flyers, animations, all in there, which obviously, adds to a lot of learning. We're already exploring from a medical education perspective. We're developing a couple of modules in virtual reality to start off with in the sports medicine and orthopedic space for our focus products and technology. So that's still in development to be launched in late 2022. Then, we do a lot of partnerships with educational societies across Asia Pacific and globe. We provide a lot of grants and fellowships to train HCPs across the globe and, specifically in Asia Pacific region. And we're also developing a lot of tools where we're just trying to enhance the overall customer experience from a technology perspective for all our customers. So this is a sort of 360-degree ecosystem that we're developing, and obviously constantly expanding our learners base, which largely to start off with was surgeons, wound physicians, and nurses. Now, as we go by, we are sort of increasing our reach to resident fellows, physical therapists, OR staff technicians, economic buyers, hospital groups, because in the end of the day, these are all our customers, and we would want to educate them on our products and technologies as we go by, because there's a definite educational need that comes along for a better understanding, better usage of products, and in terms of improving patient outcomes. Just a little bit of add-on details, which you guys can go on and understand later, that what each of this segment, what are we doing. So largely, what a problem statement is, we really need to understand that how best we can deliver that personalized and a customized learning to healthcare professional, which addresses their learning needs, maybe through a bi-directional approach, a top-down approach, or a bottoms-up approach, where we are capturing their learning needs effectively, and matching them to the right set of trainings, which is more impactful and improving the patient outcomes. So that's the problem statement, where we're looking forward to have those personalized education pathways while we understand what the exact learning needs are. And it could be a two-way. What I've spoken about, a bi-directional approaches. One is top-down, where we are mapping those customers and HCPs on their practice, how many surgeries they're doing, is the complexity of the surgery through their life cycle increasing, how are they going on and doing those surgeries, what are the products that they're using. So we map that. And secondly, bottoms up, where we understand directly from them that what their interests are, what are they passionate about, what are the specific things that they're wanting to learn, and we bring both of them together to develop those learning needs, which is very personalized and customized. So we're looking that if we could develop some sort of a tool, AI-driven tool, where we are profiling the learning needs of HCPs and matching them with their personalized education journey and learning pathways to improve patient outcomes. So that's what we're looking at largely. Maybe a working prototype where we are sort of creating those personalized training programs for HCPs via smart profiling and tool matching to deliver that impactful training needs. Obviously, like I've told you, there's so many of so many of various tools that are available in the way that we deliver medical education now. It's not just only face to face. So while Edu-tech space is evolving so rapidly, there's so much online modules, webinars, which we've conducted, and we've realized that on digital and a virtual education definitely gives us a far better and a quicker reach to much more number of HCPs than physical and face to face. But on the contrary, we understand that surgeons being surgeons, they think that hands-on exposure is more impactful. So we need to find a proper balance where we are creating that blended curriculum in terms of addressing their learning needs with the right mix of physical and virtual activity. And how are we sort of going ahead and addressing their learning needs and creating their individual learning pathways. So again, from a scope perspective, it's very wide. We have last year, within Smith Nephew, our MedEd has trained about 100,000 surgeons across Asia Pacific only. So globally, if we talk about, we have trained more than 200,000 surgeons annually through, again, a blended curriculum, which was largely digital owing to COVID. But I think we need to create that right mix. So just for the scope of this, we'll be targeting orthopedic surgeons across Asia Pacific as a scope of this prototype. What features are we looking at? Obviously, some sort of a HCP profiling, how best we can do that. I mean, we have been doing it internally, which is much more manual, and inputs coming in from our own teams, sales personals, marketing people, and we create that understanding on the learning needs. But if there's a smart profiling tool where the user himself, which is the HCP, can capture their skills, their interest, upload the necessary documents, that how are they evolving in their professional journey, the certifications that they're doing, the fellowships that they're doing, that will help us all to map, help us all of us to understand how they're progressing ahead in their journey. And maybe through a very user-friendly portal which is accessible to them, they can add all these things, which would then help us map in which stage of their life cycle are they, and what their interests are, and how are they looking forward to grow in this space, and what is the journey that they would want to take. So this is something that we want to have a profiling tool where it captures interest areas, whatever courses that they've completed. And we have our in-house database where we have a lot of customers with us on Education Unlimited. We're trying to create a platform where we are mapping what courses they've completed, just the form of developing their personal dashboard sort of a thing. So we really looking forward that how do we capture the learning needs of HCPs in the best possible way, what career stages they are in, via uploaded resumes, public sources such as LinkedIn, some useful information assessing like skill sets of the HCPs. Training needs could include profile, past training, experience, skills, procedures. Solution should be easily be able to integrate with HCP information within Smith Nephew databases that we already have, which could be a good starting point. I think collection should be in a very structured manner, which allows us for easy viewing, profiling, and doing our assessments. And then maybe you also provide us maybe some better methods where we could capture those learning needs for all the HCPs. And we all know medical science, surgeons want to improve every now and then, because the technology is growing so rapidly. The new products which are coming every now and then, new technologies, new techniques being introduced. So it's very imperative that we map that profile and map those learning needs of the HCPs from time to time, so that we can match them better with the appropriate trainings and educational initiatives. So this is number one. And then again, while we now map the learning needs, we would want a tool that sort of bases the current skill set, interest, learning goals, which we've already captured in the previous step. This tool sort of gives us some recommended learning pathways, like what the surgeon profile that he's added, what we have mapped through his resume, his skill set, his interest, and then matching it to that this is where the surgeon wants to go. And to achieve this, these are the top 3 learning initiatives or educational initiatives he would be looking forward to, which will address his learning needs in a much more better and an impactful way. We have some internal targeted educational pathways developed internally by Smith and Nephew, and we would be very happy to share that for AI to learn and adapt, their recommendations to it. Then once that learning pathways are suggested, obviously that needs to be matched to relevant training needs. So the solution should be proposing the appropriate training from a bucket list of relevant trainings that we have. Like I've told you, the 360-degree curriculum that we have, or the 360-degree tools that we are developing. What are the best top 3 tools which would address the learning needs of those HCPs in the most appropriate way. So this tool should be, and while it understands what the HCPs are looking at, then this tool should also tell us that these are the top 3 solutions which could address those learning needs for those HCPs. In addition, we understand, and we really don't want to limit to it. In addition, the tool should also allow the HCPs to sort of visit the entire list of trainings available. And also, if there's something missing, they can also add that this is something that they're looking forward to. And whatever the recommendation that this tool gives, in the end of the day, HCP should be able to view, edit, and recommend the most suitable trainings to him. But we would want this tool to recommend the best trainings suiting those learning needs that we've already identified. So like I've said, we're playing in such a dynamic space, so this tool should constantly be updated with a proper feedback mechanism coming in from the delegates, the faculties, on how the learning needs have been, what has been the impact, where we can improve, where we cannot. So the solution should have learning capabilities to improve the suggested training matches over time, which is sort of making that very close match to the learning needs and the trainings that we are proposing and giving to these HCPs. Then maybe an overview in the form of a dashboard, which provides a one-stop solution in terms of us viewing what are the top training needs. We could segment and we could do a lot of analysis. What are the top courses the surgeons are looking forward to? What are the hot topics, which is currently prevailing and which the surgeons are really interested to understand more about, and other statistics that we can define, which are where we have some training gaps and unfulfilled needs. This dashboard again should be able to integrate with our education website, which is coming up as well. So, overall performance requirements, we require an intuitive, easy to use interface while we are bombarding everyone, especially HCPs, with a lot of digital stuff, which is not their forte. Their forte is actually tools and instruments while they're operating. So we every other company is bombarding them with a lot of digital stuff. We would want a very easy to use, intuitive interface where they could sort of capture their learning needs and should be very easily able to communicate through that platform. Should be secure, obviously. It's such a the information that we're seeking has a lot of data privacy components attached to it, so we want that to be very secure and robust, where we could, starting off with Asia Pacific, and we could then scale it to our global organization. And this is a need, trust me, this is a need not just for Smith and Nephew, but many other players across in this space, where we are spending millions and thousands and millions of dollars in our education. We would really want that whatever that we are doing, the money that we are spending, at least the HCPs are going back, learning from us. That education should be very impactful in terms of increasing their technical skill sets and eventually improving sort of patient outcomes. So there's no restriction on geographical location, but we sort of try to prototype this in Singapore to start off with. What is it for you? 30,000 Sing dollars prize money, and similar one what Ella told. You could gain access to IMDA's technology resources, gain access to expertise related to the project and test resources, and be a co-developer with us. So like I've said, this is not just our very regional need, it's a global need. We're just trying to pilot it out and see if something can be built where we understand. And there's a lot of starting points that we can provide you, because we already have a huge database globally available with us, but very scattered. So we want to bring that together and see if through AI it can all make sense, and we derive some meaningful learning needs and match them to the right trainings that we have. So again, similar evaluation criteria, solution fit, similar. It should propose solution, address problem statement effectively. Similar, so I think we've all gone through this. 28th January again is the deadline.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, questions.
Okay. Thank you, Saurabh, for a very, very interesting presentation. I need to ask you a question for my own, because before we go to the questions list. So basically, I just want to ask you, the solution is targeted at healthcare professionals in the orthopedic care sector across the APAC region. So in that, how would that impact the language requirements of this solution?
So we could possibly pick few countries within Asia Pacific. Let's not open it to places like Japan and China, where there are language barriers. So we could possibly pick up 2 or 3 English speaking countries and start off and doing a pilot with that.
Okay, that's great. So I was asking for the benefit of our tech stall side. So English will be good because it's at a pilot phase. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the questions from the floor. And the first one is there a prescribed list of training that healthcare professionals ought to have completed based on a job scope?
So, knee arthroscopy versus my fellows link interest would be a shoulder arthroscopy. So it's very individual driven, but we have some standardized learning pathways within Smith Nephew that, for example, orthopedic resident who is starting his journey as a junior resident, to reach to a key opinion leader 15 years down the line, what pathway learning journey he has to take. But that could be an indicative, but it is not definitive, because it's very customized and individual preferences that HCPs have.
Okay, thank you very much, Shay. I hope that helped answer the question from the floor. Okay, coming up next, again, another question from the floor, and it says, does the Smith and Nephew databases currently contain all the required information to create the smart healthcare professional profiling? Yeah.
So I would say no. We have information in terms of an HCP who we have trained in last 5 years. We know what products we have trained him on, what workshops we have done with him, but we really don't know what his interests are, what his, where does the passion lie, what he wants to learn more. It is more of a training that we've done basis the inputs given to us by our own team members. So a sales personnel meeting that particular surgeon has come back to us that, this particular HCP requires a training in knee arthroplasty or knee replacement. So we've organized that, but we really don't know, we don't know how he has evolved in his journey. We don't have a constant update on their profiles in terms of their resumes, fellowships, certifications that they've taken, and how they're panning their interest, in this field. So even in orthopedics that we're talking about, it's such a vast field. Now we have surgeons specializing in left hand and right hand as well, right? So not just a hand surgeon, but there are, in couple of countries, people are even specializing to left hand and right hand. So it's so much of specialization that we are going into. That's where we need to understand from the horse's mouth that what their interests are, what their passion is, what their profile is, what their stage is, what their journey is, and then we could map our educational initiatives in a much more customized way where we may create that impact.
Yeah, thank you very much. So basically, the solution needs to be able to welcome information from the healthcare professionals across APAC in a sense. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, another question from Ensat. Thank you, Ensat. And Ensat is asking, should the solution be able to verify or store external certification and trainings?
Well, it's not about verification. I think it's just the HCP voluntarily, if they can share what certifications that they have done, what fellowships they have done, that will help us and the tool to map their profile and map their current stage, what they are in a better way, right? We're not looking forward to a verified information, but that information should come through directly from the HCP, right? Okay. So there's no third party who would be entering that information, but If entered directly by the customer, we're not looking forward to a sort of a verification of those certifications.
All right. Thank you, Saurabh. Okay, I think I'm going to have time for just one more question from the floor, and I'm going to go to this one from, okay, sure, we'll do just two more, okay. One is from Anonymous about, okay, he's asking, are we specific about having AI in the system? Because this anonymous person has a smart content recommendation proprietary algorithm. Yeah. So basically, Saurabh, would you consider something beyond just having AI in this solution?
So I think you guys are the experts in technology space. If you think there's a better solution out there beyond AI, which could help us overcome this problem, we are very open to exploring that.
Thank you very much. And this is the true of all the problem owners. They are very open to all the kinds of creative and innovative solutions you have in mind. So do feel free to be not constrained by the box. Please come out of the box if you want. So if something better than AI, please propose. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Okay. And the final question of today for the final Innovation Thursday of this year is going to be from JC Sekar. And JC is asking, roughly how many knowledge assets, training materials does Smith and Nephew have at this point in time related to the scope of this pilot? And are these assets tagged with metadata? Saurabh, what do you say to this?
So I think historically, if we see, we have tons and tons of GBs of data available. We have our website Education Unlimited, which is a repository of all the training content that we have. So that's the content which you see on Education Unlimited is the globally approved content. Apart from that, we have regional content, we have country content. So I think it's huge content that we have available, which we have. Some of the content is 20 years back, which we are trying to revisit and update. Does that make sense in today's world or not? And we're just trying to constantly update our content as we go by and developing this Edu-tech platform. But if you ask me, there's no limit in terms of how much content that we have from a training perspective, which we can utilize and provide that customized training experience.
Okay. Thank you, Marshall. And I have great news for Dr. Saurabh. You have finished all your burning questions today. Thank you very much. It's time for you to take a break because you've been answering questions for quite a while. Thank you very much. And thank you for your presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to your submissions for the 2 key challenges from Smith and Nephew. Thank you. We're going to move on to the final part of today's webinar.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Saurabh Sharma, Senior Director from Asia Pacific, Smith and Nephew.